The meanings of tarot cards come from various sources. The most common are the position of the tarot cards on the Tree of Life, astrological correspondences, that's signs, planets and houses, the symbolism of tarot cards, and meanings that pertain to fortune telling. The positions of the minor arcana on the Tree of Life relate to the four Kabbalistic worlds. That's Atziluth, Bria, Yetzirah and Asiya. The Ace to 10 of Wands represent the 10 Sephiroth of Atziluth. The Ace to 10 of Cups stand for the Sephiroth of Bria. The Ace to 10 of Swords represent the Sephiroth in Yetzirah. And the Ace of 10 to Pentacles stand for the Sephiroth in Asiya. The following chart shows the astrological correspondences. You can download a high-resolution copy of this chart at enlightenmenttarot.com. You can find the link in the video description. The Three of Wands represents Bina in Atziluth, the sphere of understanding in the spiritual world. The Three of Wands corresponds to the second decade of Aries, which is related to Leo. This decade is ruled by Mars and sub-ruled by the Sun. For the Three of Wands, Paul Foster Case offers the keyword established strength. He arrived at that meaning by considering the second decade of Aries, which is related to Leo. The corresponding tarot card of Leo is strength. Paul gives the secondary meanings of courage, persistence, pride and nobility, mental energy, leadership and ambition. These are character traits of Leo natives. The inauspicious meanings are conceit, arrogance and insolence, which are negative Leo character traits. Arthur Edward Wade believes that the Three of Wands is an auspicious card and that it indicates successful enterprise through collaboration. He derived at the meaning of collaboration from the position of the Three of Wands on the Tree of Life. Bina is the sphere of Neshama, the cosmic soul. Neshama is the mother of all collective souls, the soul of mankind, the soul of a galaxy, the soul of our planet, that's Gaia, and the soul of a society, communities, businesses, family, and relationships. As long as there is a collective soul, there is collaboration. Arthur agrees with established strength and offers the following additional meanings. That's enterprise, effort, trade, commerce, discovery, cooperation in business, end of troubles, and suspension or cessation of adversity. This is a bit fuzzy. The Three of Wands does not represent an entire enterprise, only its collaborative aspect. Remember that the Ace of Wands is supposed to denote an enterprise too? That was also inaccurate. The Ace of Wands denotes the initiation of an enterprise. However, the other meanings like trade, commerce and cooperation in business are indeed collaborative efforts. This is how Arthur commented on the design of the card. A successful merchant prince observes his ships, which bear his merchandise and which are sailing over the sea. It is as if the successful merchant prince were looking from his side towards yours with a view to help you. With these pictorial symbols, White emphasized the meaning collaboration. Arthur offers the inauspicious meanings of toil and disappointment, which are the effects of failing collaborations. Eteia, a French occultist and the first known professional tarotist, offers the favorable meaning of enterprises and end of worry. As mentioned, the meaning enterprise is too general. I'm not sure how Eteia arrived at end of worry. Maybe he believed that collaboration and worries, which makes some sense. Papus, another French occultist and founder of the Martinist order, offers the meaning realization of the commencement of an enterprise. I think by that he means that the Ace of Wands represents the initiation of an enterprise and the Three of Wands the understanding of the enterprise, the understanding of what it is all about. Purpose adds that the basis of the work at hand is established and that the enterprise can be carried out without worry. If the idea is the commencement and the realization of an enterprise is its basis, then this makes sense. Gregor Mather, the founder of the Golden Dawn, offers the favorable meanings of enterprise, undertaking, commerce, trade, negotiation, hope, desire, attempt, and wish. These meanings are more or less in line with those of wait, but they are also a bit fluffy. Madame de Marchand, a 19th century celebrated Parisian fortune teller, divined the Three of Wands as follows. By inheritance, the querent will come into possession of a handsome country seat, where she will live for several years, but too extravagantly. When all her money is gone, she will move into a small country town, where she will play a great part to last. That's fortune telling, so no comment. Originally, the wand, cup, sword and pentacle suits represent the Sephiroth in Atzilus, Bria, Yetzirah and Asiya. The original design of tarot cards catered to enlightenment, and at the time the tarot cards were designed, its creator did not have divination in mind. This causes a problem for the use of tarot cards for divination. Most people are only receptive to the forces of Asiya and lower Yetzirah. In order to function on the level of Bria and Atzilith, one needs to have accomplished enlightenment. So how can the forces of the cups and wand cards have any impact on normal people? How can the original meanings of wand and cup cards pertain to worldly problems? For that reason, the Enlightenment Tarot proposes a different model. The four suits represent the four levels of human expression. The spiritual level, that's the wands; the creative feeling level, that's the cups; intelligence, that's the swords; and action, the pentacles. These correspond also to the four implements on the magician's table: intention, wands; imagination, cups; thinking, swords; and action, pentacles. Since the Sephiroth, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, and Malkuth comprise human personality, Tiferet, the higher self, stands for the spiritual level. Netzach then takes the role of this creative feeling level, Hod is the intellectual level, and Malkuth the bodily level or level of action. And Yesod is the mind in which everything takes place. In the Enlightenment Tarot model, the Two of Wands represents Bina of Tiferet. Bina means understanding. There are two types of understanding: the understanding of a context and the creation of a context. You know the first type of understanding as contextualizing. For example, contextualizing science means to understand the scientific context and its principles. Contextualizing a person means to understand that person's situation and what makes that person tick. In case the querent's question pertains to adversity, the Three of Wands indicates the need to contextualize, to understand all the things that are involved in the respective adversity. You may know the second kind of understanding as contexting. If an inventor has an idea for a new product, she will find or define the context in which that product can thrive or function. In this case, the product's context is the target market. If a writer has an idea for a story, contexting means to choose a genre and to design a plot. If a dancer has an idea for a dance, contexting means choreography. In case the querent's question pertains to an undertaking, the Three of Wands indicates the need for proper contexting. Of course, contextualizing and contexting can go wrong. In the first case, we may fail to understand a situation or person. In the second case, we may fail to find the right circumstances in which our undertaking can thrive. Early on in the tarot divination, we need to determine the context of the querent's question. The four suits can indicate that context. Let's say the querent seeks advice for a relationship issue. If the tarot reader finds the significator in the one pile, this indicates that the cause of the querent's challenge is spiritual. If the tarot reader finds the significator in the cup pile, it is a creative-feely issue. If she finds it in the sword pile, it's an intellectual issue. If the significator turns up in the pentacle pile, the querent deals with an issue related to the body or the external world. The same is true for sickness. If the tarot reader finds a significator in the pentacle file, this may indicate a physical ailment. If the significator shows up in the sword pile, this may indicate a mental health problem or a psychological issue that caused a physical ailment. The picture shows 3 wands arranged in a stable triangle. These wands represent Kether, Chokmah and Bina. They stand for intention, ideation and understanding or contexting. They are the 3 principal powers of consciousness underlying all human activities. Intention, ideation and understanding stabilize and strengthen each other. We establish strength, that's Paul Foster Case's keyword, by intentionally applying ideas to the correct context. Once we turned an intention into an idea and understood its application or context, we will find ourselves in a position of strength and our undertaking will gain momentum. Established strength gives birth to conviction. Conviction is the root of faith in our undertakings. The opposite of faith is hope. Hope signifies the holding on to cherished ideas that are failing. Since the 3 of Wands resides on the spiritual level, it denotes an internal activity. Collaborations take place in the external world. Hence, the 3 of Pentacles is a better candidate for signifying collaboration. Except we think of the mentioned collaboration of intention, ideation and contexting that establishes strength. Tarot cards represent 2 things, a faculty of consciousness and an experience. We can use faculties of consciousness constructively and destructively, which produces favorable and adverse experiences. This gives us 5 principal meanings for each tarot card. The Enlightenment Tarot title of the 3 of Wands is Context. The power of consciousness is understanding, which is either contextualizing or contexting. The destructive use is conviction, and the constructive use is conviction, and the destructive use is doubt. The favorable internal experience is understanding, and the adverse internal experience is misunderstanding. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Enlightenment Tarot and discovered an inspiration or 2. Please help to spread the light with a like and a share, and don't forget to subscribe. Love and light.